What's up, fam? It's Theos. Today I'm going to be bringing you a little recap of the trade I did take today. I do apologize if you hear that outside noise. I got my window open and it's busy out there. But anyways, so today, first things first is per ICT, you have to remember only 70% of the time it has to draw for a gap. So if we mark out our new day open gap, right? See, 70% of the time it's likely to fill anywhere within here. 70% of the time. But today, for instance, we were not like that. We gapped and we went away. So how could we have taken a trade and participated for the day? First things first is, for me, one thing I did and I do normally to have an idea of where price wants to go is, especially with trading all-time highs, I'll use projection fibs. Excuse me. So here's this fair value gap here in the 4 hour, and I will turn on the projections. It's literally just numbers and Fibonacci. Anyways, if we jump to our 15-minute time frame now and look at how pre-market was, it was bullish overnight, okay? And we see we're accumulating at recent highs, and we made this new fair value gap here. And then we jump down to a 5-minute chart, and then we're looking 950, 1010, okay? So we know that we have this 5-minute fair value gap left open here, and that's optimal draw, is the lower one. The lower one is always optimal, but in a most bullish market, now jumping down to a 1-minute, this is a 5-minute. So if we mark out our macro 950, 1010, for me, my entry was a little early. I'm gonna be honest. I was expecting news to come in and give us the draw real quick before going higher. So that anticipation sort of hurt my entry. But the trade I'm gonna mark out real quick did look like this before we get into it. I entered here. My stop loss was right here, recent high, and my target was the low right there, this body. So that was the trade that we took. And then now my reasoning of why I took the trade and held through the drawdown here. First things first is we have to acknowledge we have buy side sweep at macro. We take buy side at macro. See this? This is buy side taken. Liquidity grab. See, we take buy side. So I know the market wants to draw low, and I don't know how low, especially with it being all-time highs. So you want to be very modest with your targets. So you could honestly target right here, or my target that was right here. Either or, in my mind. I originally wanted lower, but something told me, like, you know, the way news acted, I knew that we were generating liquidity here. After taking this buy side into macro, and the news was at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. was the news. It was Jolt's job opening, and you could see, extend that through time a little more, how we accumulate at the buy side before making our move lower. Take that off. And my original entry was not the best entry, I'm gonna be honest. Personally, should have entered more so on the suspension block here. So there's a suspension block, and then if we note the wick high, I'm just gonna 0 to 1 the wick. Actually, let's see what the bodies look like. Look at that wick. That's actually kind of crazy, huh? The low wick is coming in at 28,000. 31.75. Just below negative 8.5 standard deviation swing projection off one wick. Anyhow, we notice how the market does not want to go lower. See the 50% here? The red line? I'm going to mark it yellow for you so you can see. Excuse me. So the yellow line, see how the market doesn't want to go any higher? It wicked high here. Wicked here. Take that so you can see the wick here. And then immediately does exactly what we wanted to see at 10:10. The suspension block holding up. Yes, the bodies are closing outside right just a little bit, but it's within the wick, and we're paying a lot of attention to the wick after taking the recent buy side there from 9:46 a.m. So after taking out originally 9:46 a.m. high at 9:51, we then look for our short entry, and we did have news at 10 a.m. and I had an early entry. I literally said I was going to wait for news to drop, and I should have entered up here, but it happens to the best of us. And then my target just being modest with the recent low being sell side liquidity, sweeping these here. And that was the trade mainly. I'm not sure if I have anything else to actually say about it. Because we open and gap away, and you can notice if I must, there's that, and then I guess we'll just scroll out. So now we have the generated buy side liquidity. Excuse me, after taking sell side. Which I would be like that. That's how I would look at it. Accumulating at recent high after taking. And this is where projections of the fib really come into place, like on the 15-minute, for instance. Zoom in. So you take the recent fib. There's that. 15-minute. The -1 accumulation, the wick through, taking out all the generated liquidity here of all the people, retail, thinking it's going higher because it broke and accumulated here. Redistributing back down to a fair value gap before making its way and sweeping. Look at that tick. That's just fucking insanity right there. Like that is just fucked. That's on the tick. Like, geez, OPs. And then optimal entry really is 50% plus 1 tick. So let's see if it actually gave it plus 1 tick. So how many ticks is this from here? 2 ticks. Well, that's for pyramiding, honestly, because true entry is like this right here. And then your default stop loss, you could either use the recent low, should be this one, right there. Or you could go all the way down to swing low, the most recent swing low. And then target your initial high. I normally, in this instance, I would use the consequent encouragement. that's the type of trade I'd be looking to take there with a tighter stop. I'd put it at, this is where I'd have the stop. Since we were most bullish on the day, gap and go, and this is actually a beautiful entry. Just notice the time as well. $10.50, $11.10. 5 minutes later, your target's taken. Well, 4 minutes. 4 minutes. There. Anyhow. Notice the new fair value gap. Afternoon session, 12 o'clock. 30. Right back down to standard deviation of 0.5, negative 0.5 I mean. And then you could see after sweeping, this is just for fun now. Now I'm just rambling at this point. Got ICT order block right here. Called ICT order block because if you look, all these purple candles, which are bearish candles, you see, so like this is an accumulative state candle, very bearish candle, bearish, bearish, cumulative state candle, very bearish, heavy. The first bullish candle after sweeping, and the wick low. And then notice how it offers you inversion. There's the confirmation right there. This is confirmation inversion. This is what I do all the time. Just because sometimes. So now we've confirmed that we're inversed, and now we're looking highs. This would be your target, which would be buy side. Or you could use something a little more modest, probably like, I mean, I honestly wouldn't even look for any other modest targets. If you're looking for a partial, I'd suppose taking a partial off a recent high right here. So this would be target 1. I would do partial here and then full all out. Unless you were looking for the 15-minute full terminus swing projection, negative 1.5. And remember, ICT is I cannot trade, I can't trade, it's fake. Cumulative at the buy side for value gap. $152.10. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock as well. We'll see if we get any sort of reverse or continue higher to -2 standard deviation. This is 10 minutes delayed, by the way. So, yeah. Hope you find this insightful, as ICT would say. Till next time. See you soon.